Hey everybody, this is Edger and welcome to my third video in my series on creating simple games or basic games using GameMaker 8. So in our previous game, again I'm just going to zoom in for a bit. In our previous previous video, I showed you how to create a sprite, then how to change the sprite into an object, and then we just created this room with the walls and the ball. So again the steps are create the sprite, then create the object, and then you can actually put the objects in the room and you can start to code them using the objects. So I'm going to double click just to get the ball rolling, so to speak. I'm going to double click the object ball, and now you can see I have to zoom out for this one now, so I'll just go out. So now you should be able to see, let me just make this slightly smaller actually over here, and then I'll just move this one across a little bit. Sorry, I cut out some of this. I'll just do it a little bit better like that. Bring this one across to there, and I'll just bring it down like that. So this is my capture window. There we go. Now you can see it over here. So these are all the bits that we want to use, but in order to use them you must add an event. As you can see at the bottom here, you must be able to add an event. So this is our ball, our sprite ball. We don't want to make it solid. There's nothing we want to change over there. So we just want to click on add event. Then we have a series of these events. So create, destroy, alarm, blah blah blah. So we're going to create first, because when the game starts we want the ball to move in a specific direction. So I'm going to click on create. You'll see now we've got the create. Now we drag and drop one of these icons into this actions area. You can see it says actions. We drag it in here. There's two types of moves, either a fixed move or a free move, but we're going to use a fixed move. So I'm going to click, drag and drop it here, and then you tell it which directions you want it to move. So I'm just going to click on the four corners. I'm going to give it a speed of 5, and I'm going to say OK. It applies to the self, which is the ball. So I'm going to say OK. So I'm now going to run the game. So I'll just click on run, and then you will see when it runs the ball theoretically should start to move in a direction. There we go. But it's not going to do anything once it hits the wall, because we've not coded that yet. So that's all fine. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to add another event, but this time it's going to be a collision event. When we collide against the wall, so if I click on that I get the object I wanted to collide with. So it's going to be the wall, which is solid, remember, from before. And this time we're going to bounce. As you can see here, this icon over here, that is the bounce icon. So I'm going to click, drag across, let go, and I'm going to say that it's going to bounce against solid objects. If you click here, solid objects or all objects, I'm going to say solid objects, and we don't want it to bounce precisely. We want to come off at an angle from the wall. So I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to run this just to test it to see if it actually worked. So theoretically it should now start moving in direction, and once it hits the solid it should then bounce against the sides, as you can see there. So that then bounces against the wall. So now we have a bouncing ball, but there's nothing we can do about that yet. So let me just close that, and let me have a look and see where we are. So now what we've done is we've created our sprites, we got our ball to move in direction, and we got it to bounce against a solid object. The next step that we're going to do is when we click on it, on the ball, we want it to go faster. So we're going to add an event again. So we always start here when we are coding. We are on the object ball, which is fine. So I'm going to add an event. I'm going to use a mouse event. So I'm going to click, and you have loads of things that you can choose. So I'm going to choose the left mouse button. For the left mouse button, what I want to say, if I click on it, I'm just going to bring this one across again. I want it to move in a specific direction. Again, you can choose any of those. The middle one means it'll stop. The speed, remember, it was 5. So I'm just going to make it in multiples of 5, like that. But in order to do in multiples of 5, that's just the speed the ball will go at. But if I say relative, actually, let me show you quickly. Before I say relative, I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to run the game, Oh, I never said okay, sorry. It may or may not work. Let me just quickly check. If I click, yeah, it does work. So if I click on it, you see it moves, but it stays exactly the same speed. It's not getting any faster whatsoever. So let me close that, go back to our, double click that one, and then click on relative. Now I'm going to say okay. I'm going to run the game. So what you will see now, every time I click on it, because I checked the relative box, every time I click on it now, it will, whoops, if I can, there we go, it now goes faster, and faster, faster, faster. Ah, missed it. I keep on missing it. Anyway, it's going faster and faster. Right, so that's cool. So that's working in terms of the relativity of that. So the next thing that we want to do is to add a score. So every time we click on it, we actually get a score. So this time we're going to go away from the move section, and we're going to go down to the score section over here, and then we're going to click on the score over there. So I'm going to set the score, click and drag, and the new score will be, you can make it whatever you want. Every time you click on it, you can get 1 or 10 or whatever, and we want to make it relative. That means every time we click on it, yeah, we get 10 extra marks, not marks, point scores. So I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to test it. So if I go and it runs, every time I click on it, it should go, there we go. So click, there's 1, see it's 10, I missed that one, that's 20. Oh my days, missed it. There we go. So that's 40, 50, 60. I'm just clicking randomly because I'm trying to look at the score. There we go, 70. So it goes up in multiples of 10 over there. So I'll close that. We're back here now, and I think that is it. That is what we wanted to achieve. So just to have a quick recap, we created the sprites, we changed the sprites into objects. Once we got to the objects, we put them into our room by creating the wall and creating a ball. And then also what we've done is we, if I double click on the ball, we created at the start of the game, if I double click this one, we got the ball moving in a direction at a speed of 5. So that's okay. Then we said when it collides with the object wall, it must bounce against the wall, not precisely, and only bounce against solid objects. If I'm going to show you that part again, if I go to object wall, we set it to solid. So if it's not bouncing off the wall, maybe you've forgotten to set that to solid. So back to the ball. Then we said every time we click on it, it has to move in a specific direction at whatever speed you choose, and it must be relative. It must go up in 5s every time you do it. And then we also say we set the score to 10. Every time I click on it, you have to go up 10 points every single time, so you have to make it relative. Okay, cool. And that is our game. So if you have GameMaker 8, please try that. If not, you can contact me and I can get you a copy of it. It is free. They don't actually make it anymore. Yo-Yo Games has another version there which looks slightly different, but sorry, I'm just trying to get this ball going. Oh, I can actually show you another fun thing in the next video. So thank you for watching. I hope you create this. Leave me a comment if you struggle with anything, so I can address that. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video. I want to show you something interesting in the next video. Goodbye.